So your friends or partner or family members ask you to do something and you don't really want to do it. Now, how do you say no without upsetting them? I grew up being a massive people pleaser and I was very much afraid of upsetting other people. I was afraid of saying no because I didn't want to endure the confrontation. I didn't want to deal with the discomfort of having to see the disappointment on someone's face. I was afraid to upset others, to be rude, and ultimately to not be liked because I would say no. Because that would mean, in my mind, that I would no longer be socially accepted. I would not be lovable anymore if I said no. It's crazy to think about that simply saying no caused me to have so many uncomfortable feelings, right? So I had to learn how to say no without feeling like this. Now, how did I do that? First of all, by understanding that saying no is absolutely okay. If you don't want to do something, you can simply be honest about that. You don't need to want to do anything, okay? You have the right to not want to do something, okay? So understanding that this is fine can already help you to remove some of the judgment that you experience. Secondly, very important to understand is that you don't have to take responsibility for other people's feelings, okay? If you say no and they're upset, that's their problem. That's not your problem. And I know you want to take responsibility for their feelings and you're afraid to upset someone, but you have to understand that this is not your responsibility. And you have to learn to deal with the discomfort of somebody feeling disappointed. Leave it with them, okay? You have the right to not want to do something. You don't need to feel bad about that. You deserve to draw your own boundaries, okay? So this is the second thing you need to understand. Don't take responsibility for other people's feelings. It's not your responsibility. Have some humility, okay? Humble yourself. You are not playing God here, okay? Leave their feelings with them. You can show understanding, absolutely, okay? When someone's disappointed, you can show that you understand their feelings. However, that doesn't mean that you have to comply, that you need to say yes. You can stick to your decision and still show understanding. Now, the third thing is to understand that the discomfort with the disappointment in others is usually a discomfort with disappointment within yourself. Let me explain. Imagine you being in a situation, you asking a friend out, or you asking for a favor, or whatever it may be, okay? And your friend or family member or partner says no. How would you feel? How would you respond to that situation? My assumption is that if you would feel terribly disappointed, that means that you are also afraid of saying no to someone else because you know what it feels like, because you experience discomfort feeling disappointed, because they let you down and you take it personally. And that is why you fear that other people will do the same. So it's really important to also learn to deal with your own disappointment, to not take things personally when somebody says no. Okay, understand that they have their own will. They can do what they want. They don't have to say yes, just like you don't have to say yes. So if you feel like you experience discomfort with disappointment, learn to work through that within yourself. Get comfortable with your own disappointment. Learn to not take things personally. And by learning to do that, you will also understand that you can say no and the other person doesn't need to take it personally. Again, it's their responsibility. If they take something personally, you don't need to take responsibility for that. You can explain them, you can let them know that it is nothing personally, but sometimes people still think that it's personal. That's their responsibility. Same thing for you, it's your responsibility to not take things personally. So if you say no and they respond disappointed, it's not your responsibility that they do. You don't need to take it personal. It's usually their issue. Same thing as it is your issue if you take things personally when somebody says no. So learn to get comfortable with other people saying no to you as well. This is something that I really needed to learn because I was afraid to say no because I had a hard time dealing with someone else's no towards me. I took it personally. I thought they didn't want to hang out with me, etc., etc. And that is why I was afraid to say no, because I thought that their response would be the same. So become aware of that. Right? Now, the fourth and final thing to understand is that there's different ways to say no, okay? You want to play it a little bit tactfully. These can be potentially very sensitive topics, very sensitive situations, and people can get hurt very fast if you say no in an abrupt way, a disrespectful way. So you want to be tactful about it, okay? So there is no need to make it more painful or rude than it already might be, right? So simply express the fact that, hey, I don't feel like doing X, I don't feel like doing this. It's nothing personal, it's just that I don't feel like I want to do that. And you don't need to explain yourself, there is no need to explain why you don't want to do that. The mere reason that you don't feel like you want to do it is enough. There is no need to explain it, okay? And even if the person is asking for an explanation, you still aren't obligated to give them that explanation, okay? Simply stating that I don't feel like doing that is enough, okay? But you want to do it tactfully, respectfully, and show your understanding. I would understand if you're disappointed. I would understand if you feel hurt. I'm here to listen to you if that would help you. You can state your empathy. You can feel with them if they happen to be upset, but you don't have to take responsibility for their responses, okay? So I hope that was helpful, guys. Saying no is totally okay, okay? You don't need to come up with explanations. You don't need to be afraid. It's fine. Sometimes you might end up in a confrontation. That's okay. You can handle it, all right? You're a strong, resilient human being who can speak up for themselves. And saying no is not a bad thing. In fact, it is a good thing, especially if you feel like you don't really want to do it, okay? Don't take responsibility for other people's feelings. Get comfortable with receiving a no from others as well, and that will tremendously help you with saying no to others. All right, guys? I hope that was helpful. If you feel like you like this video, feel free to leave a thumbs up and click that subscribe button if you would like to see more content like this in the future. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.